62-year-olds don't look like that.
Weak men would be intimidated by strong women.
I was very much...
being stronger than most of the men around you.
Look at me. Look at my car. Look at my attitude in life. How many men do you think approach me? And I think I'm a warrior.
You just eliminate all the distractions.
I am anti-government. I always have been. I'm a punk rocker from way back, from the original late 70s. I'm very anti-medicine. I am free Palestine. Two wings, same bird, corrupt. I always felt like a weirdo, but maybe I am just a weirdo. Well, I was a dominatrix. I've had boy toys. I've done it all.
All these voices start coming into your head.
If you're hiding it, you shouldn't be doing it. They don't want to be in the least bit uncomfortable.
So what does it take to be in the circle?
Focus. Find out what your gift is, and then freely give it away. Head down, hoodie up, headset on, move.
Welcome to The Basic Show with Viktorija Pashuta.
Even why, like, normally, and especially coming into a competition, my schedule, everything about everything I do is very rigid. It's non-negotiable, like my time. I put out a little video up from my hotel room that night, just thanking everybody because I was a dick. I mean, you just have to be. So, this wouldn't have happened if it wasn't pre-competition. It's only because it was post. And when you came up to me, normally I would be very rigid and go, no, I got to get back to work. I got to get back to I'm like, yeah, let's do it. But I was absolute dickhead to even my clients. I'm like, I don't have time for this. You come, you show up. I need you to do what you got to do. I don't have the emotional bandwidth. You walk through the door, you do what you're doing, or don't walk through the door. And they're just like, okay.
I guess stars aligned. And the thing is for me, so I'll just start the story. So for me, I'm very awkward in social situations, and I'm very introverted in a sense, even though I'm a public person. So I want to tell the story to our listeners how actually we met. We actually met like 3 days ago. I was going to the gym, and there was this lady, and I've seen her progress like for a year. We never talked. And I would come at different times. I come like at 12, at 9 p.m., at 10 p.m., and she would be there. So I'm like, okay, let me actually overcome my shyness and come up to her and say like, hey, like, I want to tell you, you actually look great. So we went to Stairmaster, and I'm like, hey, I don't want to bother you. I just wanted to let you know I see the progress in your body. And she's like, I'm actually preparing for this competition, for this muscle bodybuilding competition. And I said, what is that? When is it? And she's like, well, it's like once a month or like every 3 months. I said, yeah, you should come. It's in the hotel in Anaheim on Saturday. So I put it in my calendar and I forgot about it. And then I look at the calendar, I'm like, okay, I have this thing and I need to go with the specific purpose. I need to find the best woman there who I want to interview. I just didn't know what it is. I just knew I have to come back with an amazing woman. So I get to that competition. It was just like people dressed up, like, I mean, they all freaking tanned and swimsuits. I'm like, I've never seen anything like this in my life. And as soon as I enter into the hallway where the stage is, you were the first person I saw. And I'm like, damn, who is this woman? Like, you were so fit and you were so animated. And I looked up on the screen, it said 60 plus. And I'm like, there's no way. And there's a lady sitting next to me. And I said, how do I get, like, can I get backstage to talk to this lady? She's like, no, you can't get backstage. You have to wait. So I was waiting there, I'm like feeling so awkward. I'm like, okay, please say yes. And then you came out and I felt so like, okay, I should really overcome my fear, come and talk to you. And that's how we met 3 days ago. And you agreed to be on the Basic Show, on the podcast. I'm really, really grateful for you being here. And I'm so thankful that you said yes. So happy to have you here.
It's good to be here, and I would say that is all fate, because normally I do not come out. Being a professional ballerina, it is unprofessional to come out in the front where the audience is. And the only reason I even did that was because I had a niece that came from Illinois to see me, and she was getting ready to leave, and I was like, I will come out and say goodbye to you. But other than that, I don't go out where the audience is at all during things like that. So that was fate.
I guess it was fate. And you shared your Instagram with me, and the first thing I saw on the profile of your Instagram, Maire Brandon, 62, 5 kids, 3 grandkids, athlete, what did you say, a career athlete?
A career
A
athlete.
career
yes.
athlete. I was like, oh my goodness, like this is my lucky day. I really, really wanted to talk to you and have you on the show and share your story. So if we go back and in some of your videos, you've shared that you had so many different lives and you've done so many disciplines from ballet to triathlon and track and all these things. So why bodybuilding? Why now? Why are you still competing?
Because I'm still alive. I'm gonna do something until I die. So yeah, I started probably in gymnastics. Well, ballet actually first when I was about 10 years old, and then in high school got into gymnastics. It was a little more aggressive, and that was kind of more my style. So left ballet for a while, and then in high school from gymnastics I got into running, just road running. I got married at 16, and my then husband, he was a runner, so I got into running. And I was a competitive road runner for 20 years. I was a 5-minute miler, one of the top 10 fastest women in northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin. I ran through all my pregnancies.
I feel like you running through such an amazing life so fast. I mean, let's rewind back because honestly, I have goosebumps. First of all, I mean, millions of questions. Let's go back. So you traveled from Scotland.
Yeah, my mom and dad. Yes,
Your mom and
our
dad.
family.
Your family of 7.
Moved to America,
Moved to
right?
America when you were what, 5?
I was 5.
5 years old. I mean, what was the feeling? What was the first thing you experienced getting to different countries at such a
Do you
young
want
age?
to know what my first best memory was of coming to America?
What was it?
On the airplane, I actually got to have a chocolate bar all to myself. In Scotland, we had to share everything. So when we were on the flight here, and it was a Hershey bar, which I won't touch Hershey's. But for me as a 5-year-old child, getting a whole chocolate bar to myself, that is like probably one of the most positive key memories for me coming to America.
The American dream, right there. 5 years old.
Got my own.
Oh my God! Tell me a little bit about your childhood, about your life when you were a child.
Well, my parents chose to move to a place called Rockford, Illinois, because my father's sister had moved there with her husband years before. And so I grew up in the Midwest. Rockford is 60 miles northwest of Chicago, and it's right on the Wisconsin border. It is the second largest city in Illinois. Bible Belt, very small-minded mentality. I never really fit well in there. I always felt like a weirdo, but maybe I am just a weirdo. Anyway.
In a good way.
Yeah, But I hate winters. I have an autoimmune disorder called Raynaud's, which I wasn't diagnosed until I was in my 30s and couldn't figure out why I hated winters. Never did winter sports. Never did ice skating. Never did, didn't want to be outside.
So it's a disease that you've...
It's an autoimmune disorder where it's basically an overreaction. It's like the body shuts down. It's like an allergic reaction to certain substances or food. So the body shuts down the blood supply to the extremities when the temperature gets cold. Now, each body determines what cold is. For me, my body determines about 65 degrees is cold. So if it gets below 65, I mean, I've got pictures on my phone because I cold dip or polar plunge. I force my body to deal with this issue. So you can see my hands are white. It drains the blood, and when it's too cold. And like I say, my body decides 65 is cold.
Your body just said you need to move to California.
I asked my doctor
like...
years ago in my 30s, and I said, so what do I do about this? Is it gonna go away? He goes, oh no, it won't go away. He said it'll most likely get worse as you get older. He said the best thing you can do is move to a warmer climate.
Change the climate, yeah.
So.
And it seems like you like to test yourself. You love living on the edge, huh?
I do. There's something about it that I like putting myself in difficult situations. My oldest son has chastised me from time to time for that, saying, you don't have to struggle through life, Mom. You can sit down and relax and read a book. And I'm thinking, I don't want to sit down and read a book, and I do love to read. But no, I think I love the challenge. I love overcoming it. I love it. It shows you what metal you're made of. It's like doing 10-day fasts or all of these things that I do that I put myself through. It just shows me what metal I'm actually made of and what I'm capable of. And so the next difficult thing that happens to show up, I know I'm good. I've got it.
Why? I mean, if you take any woman, they would never think, oh, let me put myself through all this trouble. For what? Are you trying to prove something to yourself?
I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. I've thought about it a lot of times, and the best I can come up with, like when I say I've lived many lives just in this one existence since Maire Brandon, born in 1963 in Scotland, I'd say I've lived at least 5 to 7 completely different people. I could show you pictures, and
What do you mean by that? Like.
I've reinvented myself, or I've been reinvented that many times. And my explanation is that my belief is that we are energies and we regenerate through the eons, through paradigms. And I think I'm a warrior. I just think I'm a warrior through different paradigms, through different time periods. That's just who I am. It's how I'm wired.
I always ask why, because so many people give up or they just get used to current conditions. Like what really moves you?
They resolve. Yeah, apathy, resolving, comfort. Those aren't words that are in my vocabulary. And I even will take, when someone says, oh, well, I'm comfortable. And I'll just look at them and go, are you comfortable or are you apathetic?
Mm-hmm. Do you think it's coming from your childhood where you used to being not comfortable?
When people talk about my discipline, they're like, you're so disciplined. And I'm like, yeah, I call it trauma response. So, I think there's some of that mixed in there, but I don't mind it. Do you know what I mean? Some people would say, oh, your extreme way of living your life and putting yourself in these situations, like that's trauma. You should probably see a therapist. I've been told that too. And I'm like, you know what? I don't mind the way I am. And the reason I don't mind it, and I actually even enjoy it, is because I've found that throughout my life, what I hear, the constant refrain that I hear from people around me is that I'm an inspiration. I'm motivational. Like, I help people. People look at me and go, wow, okay, then I think I can do this thing over here that I didn't think I could do. I show people that they're not limited. They're not as limited as they've been taught they are, which goes back to my thing about anti-programming.
Tell me more about that. What does it mean, anti-programming?
Television programming.
Tell me about
There's always a message coming through.
Is it like the old video of Bjork?
So let me ask you, when you saw that I was 62, and you're like, there's no way, because 62-year-olds don't look like that. Why would you even think that? That's programming. You've been programmed by society that when you're a certain age, you can't do these things anymore. You don't look like this. Oh, you start to suffer from these conditions. I don't believe any of it. I say bullshit to all of it. And I'm living proof.
I guess it's more conditioning, right? Like we're conditioned.
It's what you believe.
What you believe.
It's all right here. And so because I minimize the external programming, and I get to create my own life, which I've done.
So that means you don't watch any TV, you don't read news, I assume.
Yeah, it's not news.
And
It's everything has an agenda.
Exactly.
Everybody has an agenda.
Exactly. You don't hear anymore what's happening in the world, right? You stay very specific.
I will say I am Free Palestine. I have, ever since that came out, I've been to multiple protests. I am very much, and it's not even just Palestine. I have families that I have GoFundMe for over there that I'm in contact with. I've seen on your
page, for some of the friends.
So it's not even just a Palestine. It's humanity. Everyone should have the right to self-determination. Everyone should have the freedom to pursue what it is they want. I don't care where you are, whether you're in the Congo or whether you're. I am anti-government. I always have been. I'm a punk rocker from way back, from the original late 70s. I'm an anarchist. It's like I really believe in the freedom of the people. I believe in personal accountability, personal responsibility, And I don't think we should. I don't believe in prescribed morality as far as religion. If you have to have a religion to tell you what is good and right, and kind and loving, that you're already a shitheel. So that should come from inside. You should want your fellow man to thrive. You should, if they need help, you should want to help them. So
How do you think you became this way? Because you live in California, probably the worst state for, that has so many,
I think it's something that's
confinements.
within my being. I do. I come
Scottish
from
blood.
a family of addicts and a family of alcoholics.
Okay.
So could I think easily say I have addictive behavior. My behavior is extreme. I'm 110%, whether I'm in denial or whether I'm in indulgence. So my fourth child, Samuel, and I, we were just talking about that, corresponding about that 2 days ago. About that's if I've got a box of chocolates, I'm eating the box of chocolates. I'm not eating one or two. I mean, it's like, oh, there's a box. So I just generally don't have a box of chocolates around.
But I guess that also helps you to achieve your goals, right? Because you kind of that extremist that you go all the way in, whatever you do.
Right.
Right? Do you think that's the ultimate quality if for anyone who wants to achieve any sort of success in any either like sports or arts or anything?
Yes, even if it's not athletic. I think if you look at very successful businessmen, I think they were all in. It's like you pay the price up front. You make those sacrifices. You're sacrificing your time. Like I'm single, and I've been single for 6 years, and I've been completely celibate for 6 years. Wow. So I don't have time. And I have people look at me and go, "Are you kidding me?" And I'm like, "No." Because that's what it takes. In order for me to have achieved what I did, the physical conditioning that I did, 8% body fat, I started at 21. I had to just, like I said, I had to be a dick. It's like when someone's, "Hey, Mary," nope, don't have time. I got to go do my cardio. I got 45 minutes to get in. So I think for anyone that is successful to that degree, whether they're an elite athlete, you could take David Goggins and people would say he's nuts. Okay, well, yeah, but look what he's achieved. Steve Jobs, take some of these people and look at them and what they got. They were so driven and they were so focused.
Do you think like you contradict yourself when you say you're a dick, which that would society say? I would say you're more determined. I mean, when you're determined and you have your goal, you just eliminate all the distractions. I would say it's a dick. I feel like maybe you inside internal guilt saying, oh, I might not be nice to people.
Only because what my job is serving other people. So that's what I do all day, is I help other people realize their lack of limits. I help them realize their empowerment. And so when it comes, that's a hard line when I'm trying to achieve a goal, and yet most of my time is poured into other people, 10 to 12 hours a day. There comes a place where I have to draw that line and go, this is your time and this is all you get today. And that's not normally me. And they know that. It's like, and I've said to them, I told them before I did this, I'm going to do this competition. I'm going to be an ass. I said, I have to be selfish about a certain amount of time. And it's not even selfish, it's self-interest. And those are two different things. And they understood.
So for those people that you work with, is it important, what's more important, the actual physique or the mindset that they should have in order to get to the point where they're trying to get, or both?
Well, it starts with the mindset, but if you have that mindset, you'll get the physique, if that's what you want.
So anybody can get?
Absolutely. That's what I believe. That's why I say I am simply an example of what is humanly possible. It just starts here. And most people, like you said, they give up. They're at a point, it's like, oh, I'm on the downside. I'm going to sit on the couch and watch my show, which is the thing I never understand. I'll say to people, like, you don't have a TV? I'm like, no, why would I want to waste my life's moments watching other people pretend to live life's moments? They're not even real. They're faking it. It's all acting. And I'm giving up my life's moments sitting here watching them fake their life's moments. Why would I do that?
It's interesting you say that because that's what I do. And I feel, no, it's true because I'm obsessed with TV shows. And I feel like the reason, you made me think the reason I do it because sometimes I want to escape the reality and you want to get and live that exciting world and close the eyes on what's going on around you right now. And sometimes we don't realize probably that it takes another day, one step to make a difference, but you just choose what's comfortable or what's soothing, right? And just leaving that other dream out there, and makes you feel good. You know, you watch the TV show about 20s.
It's like alcohol. It's like sex. It's like drugs. It helps you escape. I would rather be an active part of changing, be the change you want to see in the world. So I would rather be that person out there doing, like, for instance, I tell people I've never watched pornography, and they look at me and I'm like, I've never watched porn. If I've wanted to indulge in that, guess what I do? I just go fucking indulge in it. Like, I'm gonna live it in my real life. I'm not gonna watch other people fake it. Like, that doesn't make sense
But see,
to
it's
me.
so easy it's easier said than done. So how do you even discipline yourself? I can't imagine like taking any regular person and say, okay, from tomorrow, you're going to be celibate. From tomorrow, you're not going to watch TV. Like, it's
not eating Cheetos
it's
ever again.
impossible. Like, I guess it became your lifestyle, right? It's you. But if somebody, what is your advice for somebody who wants to kind of start going that direction, but they don't know what's the
Baby
first
steps. Everything has
small
to be done in
steps?
degrees.
Burn the TV.
Like, well, you know, like I say, I raised all my children without a television. We had a TV with a VCR and, you know, VHS tapes. You
I
know.
love those, yeah.
Be kind, rewind. And because I homeschooled all my children.
So what does it mean, homeschool?
I taught them at home. They didn't go to school. I taught them at home.
Did you know all the subjects?
I was their teacher.
Oh, you were their teacher. Okay.
Yeah. So I had a lot of different information, like a lot of different curriculum, not just in books, but also, you know, Jumpstart was one of the programs, which is funny because once I moved out here, I had a client who was one of the designers of these homeschool math programs and engineering programs that I used for my children way back in the 90s in Illinois. And he was one of the designers. And I was like, oh, that's fucking cool. So, so we had a television, but we didn't, like, I think we got the 3 basic television stations, but we never watched TV. We would rent maybe like VHS and watch specific movies. We exposed our children to just specific things.
Did you ever had resentment from your children? Because one thing,
Yeah.
like I imagine
wanna interview
you still
them?
you still live in the society, right? I mean, didn't they feel like, hey, mom, like we feel so left out?
No, because I think you can tell I'm a very, like I dance professionally and all my children dance with me. We had Nutcracker performances where I was on stage with all 5 of my children. Like, so my kids were exposed. I worked a job at a place called Gymnastics Academy of Rockford. It was an Olympic class facility, and I was the core coach for junior Olympic gymnasts. Plus, I was also a dancer and a dance teacher, taught hip hop. I taught other homeschoolers gym class. We did trampoline, tumbling. All my kids did martial arts classes, tumbling classes, gymnastics classes, dance classes. There's a lot of homeschool things that go on in the Midwest because it's been big there for a while. So we had homeschool groups. My daughter played flute and piccolo. We were involved. My son Samuel did football. He did city league football. All of my kids were runners, but because I was involved in a running group, being a runner. And they would do the kids' fun runs. So there was a lot of socialization. Now, but don't get me wrong, a lot of homeschoolers are not socialized, and they're pretty derelict. I've worked with a lot of them. But that's because in the Bible Belt, those people, their mentality is they don't want their kids to be in the world, so they want to keep them in a bubble. I wasn't like that, so my kids were very socialized. But yes, they still have, we all have resentments with our parents, don't we?
Yeah, I bet.
So yes, I've heard some of my kids know. Some of my kids are like, I think we had an amazing childhood. We had 6.5 acres of land. We had our own garden. We had chickens. Like, my kids had a nice storybook childhood. But yes, I was very much, my kids got up in the morning and they had to run their laps in their age around the house before breakfast.
Wow, mini army.
G.I. Jane.
But how did you find time? I'm working. I can't imagine you have one kid. You had 5 kids.
That's what I did.
And you homeschooled and you took
And then
care
I
of
worked
yourself.
part-time. I did.
And you work part-time.
And all my kids went with me because you're talking old school. You're talking Christianity. So my husband didn't babysit his own children.
Ah, okay. So you had to stay at home.
When
dad.
I went to
Okay.
work, all my kids went with me. But like as I told you, I worked at a place called Gymnastics Academy. All my children got to take classes for free. So they were all in classes while I was teaching. And that was in the afternoon. So basically homeschool. I would get up every morning and go running at 5. And I'd get home from my run, 6:30. I'd get everybody up. And then we get ready. We started school around 8. They all had to memorize 2 scriptures out of the Bible every week. My husband was an elder in the church. I was one of the worship team leaders. We were at church 3 times. Yes, because I sing, and I'm also a classically trained violinist. So, yeah.
This is incredible. I mean, you're talking about these things. It's like, oh, I was a classical trained violinist. I got married at 16.
I know.
You probably, so tell me, I mean, I have so many questions. Like, how did that come about, if you don't mind sharing? I mean, and you said, didn't you say you had a double wedding with your dad?
With my dad.
And your stepmom on the same day?
Yes, we got married together.
Was it like an arranged marriage situation?
No, yeah, we're Scottish. We're Druids. We're pagans from way back. No, it was not arranged. My parents, we moved here from Scotland, and my dad was an alcoholic, came from alcoholic parents, and I think that my parents thought coming here to America would help get my dad away from some of those influences. And my dad was a pianist, and he was a master European degreed baker.
And you have a joke about that.
You notice I paused my words, so I said it in the right order, so I didn't say master baker. My dad's joke there would be not masturbator, that's master baker. He was an excellent European baker.
And he was a carpenter. He
was
had
a
a degree in
carpenter.
biology.
Yes.
It's
Yeah,
incredible.
food biology.
Food biology, right?
Yes. And he was self-taught pianist, and he played honky-tonk, ragtime. Our Scottish parties were just lit.
So you were exposed in early childhood to different art disciplines, even though you might not had the childhood that you dreamed about, right?
I come from a family of musicians. Everyone in our family was a musician. My mother was a great vocalist. That's probably where I learned to sing, her and Freddie Mercury. My oldest brother, Steve, he still is alive. He's in Illinois. He plays mostly acoustic guitar. My brother, John, who passed away last May, he was probably the foremost musician. He was a recording artist. He played all kinds of different instruments, played in local bands down through the years, contributed a lot to the music scene in Rockford, Illinois, and the area. My brother Russell was a drummer and played clarinet. He died about 10 years ago. Terrible drug addict. My sister, Anna Louise, she also played drums, but her life stopped pretty quickly. She started running. She was raped at age 11 and started running away from home, so she never really, she kind of just made bad decision after bad decision. She's in Arkansas in a convalescent home. She can't talk or move. And then there was...
That's devastating, I'm sorry. And that you mentioned that happened when you were about, what, 9 years old?
I was 9, yeah. But my brother Russell and my brother John, they're both dead now. And so it's just me and my brother Steve. But yeah, I come from a family of musicians. There was just always music and all different types of music.
Do you think the more you expose your kids to different disciplines, the more the talented they would be when they grow up?
Well, I think that we as human beings, I think that creativity is what should be nurtured first and foremost. I'm not a big fan, obviously I homeschooled, I'm not a big fan of that rigid, stringent education, sit in a desk and learn these things by rote. And my son Gabriel, he's my oldest son, my second child, he tested at the 99th percentile when he was 5 years old on the SATs, because I always had my kids tested. I was like, oh, this kid's gonna be a genius. He was horribly dyslexic. He couldn't learn any black letters on a white page. He couldn't retain any of that knowledge because he was a creative mind. It just was how he learned. So I got information from the Dyslexia Foundation, the Orton Dyslexia Foundation out on the East Coast when he was young, got books on it to learn how he would best teach him, how it would be best to teach him, because he wasn't going to sit and learn out of a book like traditional education. And so Gabriel, very artistic. All my kids are very artistic, and I think all humans are. I think that they try to get crammed into a pattern too soon in life, and I think society's starting to realize that. It's like, this is not the best way for us to raise good human beings. I think they're coming around to that.
So what is the best way to raise human beings in your mind?
I think the freedom for them to be creative. Let them climb on logs and fall off and break an arm. I mean, it's like, you know.
Do you believe the children need to be exposed to different things? Or
Absolutely.
Because I hated playing piano. I mean, I was exposed to it, but I hated it. I was like, oh, I don't think it's my thing. Like, so for children, do you think?
But do you think you benefited somewhat from it?
Oh, absolutely.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. It's as being a ballet teacher, I would have parents that would have their little girls in my ballet class, and their daughters, some of the girls just hated it, and some of them, they were just uncoordinated as shit, you know. And I would say, you know, hey, little Susie just hates ballet, you know, but I always wanted to be a ballerina. I'm like, that was your dream. I think you should let little Susie go play some soccer now. It's like, you know, I think the exposure is good, and there's certain activities, obviously ballet is one of them, gymnastics is another, but, you know, ballet is fine motor, gymnastics is gross motor. I think gymnastics is more beneficial when you're younger, but it gives you a sense of your living organism and how it moves through time and space. And I think that's to gain a sense of that at a young age is always highly beneficial. I don't think that you have to stay in it, but I think learning certain disciplines and piano, absolutely. The eye-hand coordination, the dexterity, yeah.
So ballet is, in my mind, it's opposite from bodybuilding. How did you have any change in perception of femininity? Going from like the graceful ballerina to lifting weights and probably being stronger than most of the men around you. How did your perception of femininity and masculinity changed when you started doing bodybuilding?
I've always been a tomboy.
Yeah.
I've always had a lot of masculine qualities about me. I'm an Aries, I'm a fire sign, I'm the original, I'm number one. I'm an Aries sun, I'm an Aries moon, I'm an Aries Mercury. I'm just a very aggressive individual to start with, and I think as a child I wasn't. And I think that's just because I had, you know, fears and traumas and just certain things you grow up with. And having three brothers that were always picking on me, lovingly, mind you. But I think I learned to fend for myself. So I think I've never been I was not that little girl that liked to play with dolls or Barbies. I wanted to go climb trees and jump off of garage roofs. And
I want to know about the pet mice.
Oh, my pet mice. Jim and Socrates were my two pet mice.
So tell me, I really wanted to know more about that. So
little white mice, yes, and I've had atypical pets also. Like I had, when my kids were growing up, we had 5 ferrets, we had a hedgehog, we had snakes, Kirtland water snakes, red-bellied snakes from Wisconsin. We had a rat, Zuba, white rat. It's just we always had.
I think maybe I out-weird you. I had a pet, a snail, and his name was Amigo. So it was so weird. But
He probably didn't do much, did he?
No, it was a huge one, just climbing on the lattice, picking up an apple.
We had newts.
Yeah.
We had,
what are those?
Newts.
What is that?
They're little salamander-like.
Oh, lizards, kind of.
Bearded. My son had a bearded dragon.
Oh,
just yeah.
Yeah, that's great that you expose your kids to so many different environments, disciplines. They had all these pets. Was it do you consider you had a farm or?
No, we had 6.5 acres.
Just
It was technically in the county. It was right outside of Rockford, Illinois. But a nice sized lot. We were the first family out of the original family that built the house in 1916. They sold. We were the first people they sold it to out of the outside of the family. And it had 6 acres full of black walnut trees. Beautiful. Black walnut is used for fine veneer. And the trees had never been harvested. And there was probably over. When they originally built the home, the grandfather had planted these trees with the intention of when they came to maturation that they would harvest them and they would pay for like the grandkids' college and things like that. And they never harvested the trees. So we ended up, when we moved in, we had a professional logging company come in and harvest about 20, 25 of the trees and got a good chunk of change for them, but still had at least 30 trees left on the, and we had a big wood burning furnace in our basement, a big octopus furnace, so we had wood to burn all winter long, and it was a real nice spot for kids to grow up. I don't think, all my kids loved that house, so.
So I assume all your kids are grown up right now and
Yes.
on your own, huh?
My baby is, Daniel is 34. Samuel, or he will be, 36. Sarah will be 38 in August. Gabriel just turned 40 in March. And my daughter Hannah, my oldest, will be 42 in September.
All right, guys, this is your favorite part of the episode, the commercial break. I believe we just received the call that Brad Pitt, unfortunately, cannot come as a guest on this episode, but just to keep you guys entertained, we have here a special guest, Jathan, to tell us a few of his infamous dad jokes.
Infamous. Hello.
Infamous. Does somebody, what does it say on your t-shirt?
Does somebody need a hug?
I need a hug real bad. I need a hug real bad right now. So do you.
Yeah.
After what happened today?
A hug from a big beer.
From a big beer? I thought you don't drink beer.
Huh?
I thought you don't drink beer anymore.
No, energy drinks.
Oh, energy drinks. But you still drink beer?
Yeah.
Oh. Good for you, my friend. All right, let's go ahead and entertain our beloved listeners and viewers with your extremely funny jokes.
So I went to the doctors the other day. Told him I had an addiction to Instagram. And he just kind of looked at me a little like weird. And I'm like, you look confused. He's like, sorry, I don't follow you.
That one is funny. That one is funny. Or maybe not.
Oh.
It was funny for a second.
What do you call a man with no body or no nose?
A man with no body and no nose? It's gonna be some stupid thing.
Nobody knows.
I knew it's gonna be something super stupid. Okay.
The last one is a little bit of wisdom.
Wisdom.
The stock market isn't as bad as a divorce. Because when you get divorced, you don't have your wife anymore. The stock market, you still have your wife and no money. Divorce, you have neither.
Wait, that was a part of the joke? That was the whole joke in the beginning?
Yeah. Because with the stock market crash,
Yeah.
like, you're just broke. But with the divorce, you're broke and no wife. So the stock market crash isn't as bad as a divorce.
It just took me a while just to understand what you're saying.
Yeah, the pitch wasn't as good as it could have been.
I think my brain doesn't work right now.
Yeah, it's fried.
Yeah.
Mine's fried.
Well, you did your best, Jason.
Yeah.
We g-
If I come back,
if
I'll
you
get something
if you ever come back, if you have your job back, we're gonna people like in ancient Rome, it's gonna be like, ooh,
someone's gonna throw a tomato at me.
tomato. I think you did pretty average. Pretty.
Yeah, not so good. Anywho, see you next week.
I would give you maybe like 6 out of 10, because I smiled a few times.
Yeah, it was rough. I'll have better stuff next week.
Well, if you guys want Jathan to keep his job as a major entertainer during the commercial break, please like, comment, follow, subscribe to our channel right here,
Over there.
over there,
And share.
over there, and share. We would highly appreciate it. Do you ever feel lonely?
No.
I don't believe you.
Oh, really?
Ever?
No, I would. I'd love to have the ability to visit my kids more, or to have them come to me. But I live in 600 square feet, because in LA we don't really live in our homes. We live outside.
Yeah.
That's why we're here. So I've lived in the same apartment for 15 years, and lonely, no.
Maybe you don't allow yourself.
I'm alone,
Like
but
you
I'm
don't-
not lonely. Like I can honestly say that I'm never sitting pining away going, oh, I wish I had someone to, I don't. And some people have a hard time believing that, but I try to explain to people, look, I've done it. I've literally done it all. I got married at 16, which is unheard of. I had 5 children. I didn't just have 5 children. I actually was with them 24/7 for 20 years straight. I homeschooled them. I grew up with them. And I was married for 23 years to a wonderful man. And then after that, after the divorce, I've had a couple of really, really solid relationships. A 6.5-year relationship when I first moved out here, an 8-year relationship with a boy toy. He was 29 years my junior. I've had boy toys. I've done it all. It's like, I've had menage a trois. I've played all the games.
What's the craziest thing you've done?
Oh my God. Well, I guess that would be left up for interpretation. Well, I was a dominatrix.
I could see you in that.
Yeah.
I could see.
I mean,
I'm not
my
surprised,
license plate
honestly.
says that. Like,
I'm not surprised. Was it more like a hidden? I mean, were you open about that, or was it more like a secret?
I don't hide anything. Here's my view on life. If you're hiding it, you shouldn't be doing it. And people would say that, like, do your kids know? I'm like, well, I guess if I'm hiding it, then it's something wrong, isn't it? And if it's wrong, I shouldn't be doing it.
What did it give you? Did it give you like certain, like, pleasure dominating and being in charge, or just more giving something to other people?
I was going to say, you would think, but I like meeting needs. So it's...
So it was more for you providing something.
Yeah,
those
and
people.
in that world, it's a lot of women are angry with men. Like they have an anger and they want to hurt them. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's... Like, I've had some requests and I'm like, sorry, dude, no, I'm not... No, that's not my thing. I'm not stomping on your fucking balls. That's not happening.
I can imagine. I mean, I'm following one of the Telegram channels for one of the dominatrix in Russia, and I've read some stories. I mean, some insane, some brutal, but I feel like a lot of men, they're hiding certain desires because, like you said, it's not acceptable in society.
Yes.
And they're looking for the avenue to fulfill those desires and looking for a person who's willing, with
That is safe.
Safe, to share it with
Yeah, I
them.
have a questionnaire. One of my original boyfriends, he was a business attorney. He wrote up my contract, and I had a questionnaire everybody had to fill out. And, sometimes their fetishes, I would just be like, sorry, I can't help you. Like, no.
Do you think those are fetishes or some like more like
Yep, that too.
mental
That's why I had-
deviations?
That's why I would have them fill out a questionnaire, because a lot of times some of the things they would put down, I'd be like, okay, I don't know what happened between you and your mom when you were a kid, but I can't help you.
You're not the psychiatrist.
I am not what you need. So
that's probably one of your 7 lives, right?
Yes.
That you lived.
Yeah.
So you had the life before you came to the States. Then you had your motherhood life, right? The coach and the land and these beautiful trees. And now, I mean, may I ask, are you living now for yourself? Or what is your purpose, I guess, right now?
I think purpose in general is to find what your gift is and then give it away freely. I think then that empowers other human beings. It brings all of humanity up. So, like I say, whereas people might be critical of me, saying, you're such an extremist, or, you put yourself into these situations, you make your life harder. And as I said already, and I'll reiterate it, that I feel that I tend more to be an encouragement and an inspiration and a motivation for other people. And I think that's what we're supposed to do, is find out what your gift is and then freely give it away. Like, don't withhold it.
What would you advise to people who don't know what their gift is? Like people who still
Stop
searching.
watching fucking TV and figure it out.
Hey.
Stop being distracted. We do. I do too. I can't be critical. I have my own areas where I'm going to let myself be distracted. And it's like you try to minimize that as much as possible. Sometimes the world is overwhelming. Sometimes the system is overwhelming. I'm not political at all. The whole system's corrupt. It drives me bonkers when people start to, I'm like, no, not political. Don't, Everybody, two wings, same bird, corrupt. So it's like, don't get me started. So, I think we all want to check out every now and then, and we all have our different ways of doing it. I just really try to minimize it. I really try to embrace the discomfort rather than anesthetize.
See, I love what you're saying, embrace the discomfort, because I feel most of the people are so afraid just to be with themselves. They're afraid of silence. They need to be always going out partying. They need to be with somebody. They need to fill in their life with relationships that don't serve them, because for the fact they are they're uncomfortable to be with themselves, because all these voices start coming into your head and you start questioning, what am I doing? What's my purpose? Like, what am I trying to achieve? And that's really hard, especially nowadays when so much noise. What's your advice to eliminate all the noise? I know it says simple, like don't watch TV, but is there certain technique maybe you could share for people to, I don't know, just to kind of focus and get closer to finding their purpose?
Well, I would say meditate, but I don't really meditate. I'm not really sure what that means. I meditate when I ground or connect with nature, in the sense that, I'll go out on my road bike, and Sunday's my one day that I'm not in the gym, and I'll go out on my bike and I'll have people go, I don't understand. All you do is exercise all week long, and then on your one day off, you still go out on your bike and exercise. And I said, no, it's a whole different thing. I'm on my bike and I'm riding along the ocean, and and it frees my mind to start thinking about things. And I have always done introspection. So when we do something in life, like let's say I'm going to do this for that person, and, because it's so altruistic.
Mm-hmm. It's more for themselves, right?
I am the person, I was always call myself into account and go, okay, but why did you really do that? Was it really altruistic? Did you do it because you really wanted to serve the other person? Or was part of that because serving that other person also made you feel good about yourself? So I've done that my whole life. I can't explain where that came from. I've always done introspection and called myself into account. So I'm always trying to be better. I'm always trying to level up. I'm always trying to stop being an asshole. In different places, I know where my areas are, and it's like, okay, you got to stop doing that. Like on the 405 in my car, when people are in the left lane without left lane ambition.
Shouldn't be there. Some people should be only. But that's what it is in Europe, right? Like you have the slow cars drive on the left and the fast ones on the right. Here you can find a freaking most cringiest truck in the fastest lane driving 20 miles an hour.
I got a ticket just about 2 months ago because there was a white pedo van in the left lane, and I had worked already 10 hours and I was in diet prep and I needed to get home for that last meal.
Yeah.
And there was a white van going like 67.
Road rage.
And I zoomed around him, and there happened to be a CHP, and he pulled me over and he goes, "You in a hurry?" I said, "Yeah, I am in a hurry." I'm very belligerent. White privilege. I get away with it. I will sit there and swear at the cops. And he goes, well, I clocked you going 83 trying to go around that van. And I said, well, that van was obstructing traffic. They're in the left lane. I said, there's no one in front of him. I said, he had 3 other lanes to pick from. I said, the left lane is a through lane. I said, that's on the California state driver's test twice about if someone passes you on the right or the left lane. And he's like, I know. He goes, I ride a bike, a motorcycle. He goes, I get it. And I'm like, but you're going to ticket me rather than ticket him for obstructing traffic, the flow of traffic. And he goes, well, you were going 83. And I think it was a Friday night, and I said, so you think I'm on a joyride? I said, listen, I spent 10 hours in the gym today. I said, I'm on diet prep for a competition. I just need to get home, 1, to pee, and 2, to get my last meal in before I get up at 5 a.m. and start all over again. Now, granted, that ticket hasn't shown up yet, so I have a tendency to, I think they write the ticket and they're like, okay, yeah, this lady was probably just really, because I think he thought it was a Friday night, and I'm like, no, I'm just trying to get home,
You
man.
can still contest it. You can go have your case in court.
There's another one I'm contesting right now. I don't have
I'm
my
not
shortest-
surprised for some
You've
reason.
seen
I'm
my
not
car,
surprised.
right? I mean,
No, I
have you
haven't
seen
seen
my
your,
car?
no, I haven't seen your car. Oh my God, that was you? I was like, I actually stopped prepping. I was like, what is this cool car?
It's a British race car. It's a track car. It's a Lotus.
This is a cool brand. Tell me about it. Lotus?
Lotus.
Is it I don't know, are they based in Orange County? No? Or
No, it's British.
Oh, British. Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. Sorry. I think I'm confusing
It's okay.
with
China owns them
Karma,
now.
like everything else.
The Brits can't hang on to anything. They're idiots.
Yeah, that's actually a really, really amazing car.
They lost Jag. They lost Land Rover. They're
Yeah, that's it.
Bentley. They're
That's it. We just had an interview, the other episode, with the Orange County car brand called Rizvani. The guy is Iranian American and started a car brand 8 years ago. Bulletproof, military meets luxury. It's really incredible. Anyway, just reminded me about him. But wow, it's definitely, I can definitely see a personality, like the toxic, was it toxic green?
It is called Krypton Green.
Krypton, okay,
Krypton
excuse me.
Green. That is one of the rarest Lotus colors.
Have you heard, a random thought, have you ever heard about the Love Colors by Pamela Osley? So she is I think she's a doctor, a scientist, and she somehow scientifically proved that every person is born with an aura, and each aura has a specific color. And sometimes we don't work with certain partners because our colors don't match. And so I think, based on a color, I just thought of it, you're probably magenta. Magenta people who love attention, they're very extravagant, they have like cool cars, they have tattoos, they like to be in the center of attention, very magnetic people. I think you're magenta. Look it up, it's really interesting. I'm a violet.
The funny thing is, when you said that you're introvert, like you're socially awkward. I'm very socially awkward. And I know you're looking at me like, yeah, whatever. I'm on the spectrum, and I like, if I'm comfortable, like in my comfort area, I'm good. But if I have to meet someone that I don't know, I get anxiety. I'm like, I don't know, what do I say? I'm gonna sound stupid. Like
me too.
I'm not. I'm really not. I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm an introvert, but I'm not that. Hi, I'm Mary. I'm not that person at all. I am not a welcoming committee. I will always take the back seat and just observe. And when I see people that are outgoing and very, in certain like salespeople, and they don't have a problem, like it just floors me. I'm like, how do you do that? Like, I would feel like so awkward. Like,
Do you think it's coming from our European upbringing? Because I feel like in Europe, friendship needs to be deserved. It's kind of like, you don't trust everybody, whoever smiles at you
100%.
and be all friendly.
or
and
you
then,
even trust them less if they like, what do you
right?
want?
And then
What do you
next
want?
thing they stab you in the back, right? I think it's more of our maybe like
Preservation.
preservation instinct. Maybe we try and kind of first observe and see, can I trust you? Do you want to be friends with you? And then we dive in.
I'm very selective.
Yeah.
My group is quite small.
So what does it take to be in the circle?
That is so funny that you said that, because I have so many people that say that, like, oh, I just got lucky and I got you at a weak moment and now I'm in the inner circle. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, I'm so special.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just me. I'm just rolling along, living my life. But I do it, and I've done that with partners too. It's like, well, if you want to be my partner, well, you got to jump on my train, because I'm not changing my trajectory. So it's like, you adopt my lifestyle, of what I do and how I pack my food and I eat and I do these things and I eat only organic, non-GMO. I don't shop in grocery stores. I'm very, it's like if you can hop on that train, we're good. But I'm not going to be with someone that fucking eats El Pollo
Isn't it
Loco
selfish?
or whatever.
Isn't it selfish? Would you do the same for your partner?
Pardon?
Isn't it selfish, like for you wanting your
Not
partner
at
to
all.
completely?
Because they can always say no. They get the freedom of choice. We all have the freedom of choice.
But would you compromise on
I'm not
their?
compromising shit.
Nothing. Okay.
I don't have to. Do you
That's
know
what
why?
you're celibate for.
It's my life.
But don't you think? I mean, through your experiences, you've had relationship. Do you think, not successful, I hate that word. Like happy relationship is always like 50-50 compromising on things.
It's never 50-50.
It's never 50-50.
It is give and take. But I mean, I was in a marriage in the Bible Belt where it was traditional. The husband is the head of the house, and my husband like threw clothes of mine away that he didn't like. I didn't speak out of turn. I did what I was told. So yes, potentially what you see now could be a bit of a reaction. I'd like to say I've come to center ground, but what I've realized is that, and it's not even me being an asshole. I don't have to compromise anything. None of us do. You are who you are, and you should be able to freely be who you are. And you shouldn't have to go, I really don't feel good about doing this, but I'll do it because you want me. No, you don't have to do that. I spent a good portion of my life doing that.
But see, the problem for me is that we get so comfortable then live by ourselves, right? It's the most comfortable thing. You have your routine, you have things the way you want them. And of course, it's always uncomfortable to have another person. But then don't you think you have to choose either just be this lone, wild stranger, loner, rather than, okay, I'm willing a little bit to compromise. I'm like sacrifice here and there, but then I will be in a partnership, in a relationship. And you clearly chose the option that's more convenient for you, right? Because it gives you freedom. It gives you the freedom to be who you are. But don't you think after some time you would regret it, saying, "Oh, maybe I should have."
No, because I've done it all. And when you say yes to this thing, you're saying no to all this over here. So when you say yes to a marriage or a partner, you're saying no to a lot of other things. When you say yes to being single or celibate, I'm saying no, but I'm okay with that. I mean, I could fuck him and send him home. I did that for 2 years too after my divorce. Fucked him and sent him home. Can I get your number? No, but thanks for your dick.
I like the boot kick.
I mean, it's so like I've done all those things. Like, and for me, I'm not white knuckling being single.
It just happened,
And
right?
I don't feel like I'm giving up anything by not getting in a relationship. I honestly, I'm very organic. If someone showed up and I felt like, boom, I was like, all right, I'm gonna roll with this. I would roll with it.
Do you
It's just
believe-
look at me, look at my car, look at my attitude in life. How many men do you think approach me?
I would say they would be very intimidated. So that's actually another question. I mean,
And I'm okay with it.
do you think, I've heard, I don't know if it's Madonna she said, strong men would never be intimidated by strong women. Weak men would be intimidated by strong women. But because the percentage of strong men is so small and most of them already taken.
I was gonna say, and they're all fucking married. They're
already married.
Because I get a handful of them. It's like, nah, I would fuck with him, but he's married.
He's
So-
married,
and I don't
right?
do that. I am very
right.
my integrity, and that way it's like, nah, there's a lot of men I could fuck. I don't need to fuck the married ones, and I won't do that to another woman. I wouldn't do that. So, but I do know a handful of men that's like they like me, like oh, he could handle me. Like they meet me where I'm at. But yeah, they're married. Yeah, those men are married.
That's where they have,
And the weak
confidence.
ones, yeah, no, they crawl up and like I'm like, I don't do that game anymore. Get off your knees. Jeez.
I would feel like younger men would be less intimidated by you.
Yeah, they are.
I would
the younger
assume,
ones
huh?
are. I'm just tired of teaching them shit.
I bet, yeah. I mean, I think the philosophy is that younger men need to be mentored by older women, and younger women need to be, taken care of by older men. Kind of, it's a perfect
I think
synergy.
there's a balance. Yeah, I think there's a balance in there somewhere. But we live in a little bit of a wonky world where you know, especially in this world out here in LA, where women just want to find a man with money to take care of them. And I'm like, why don't you figure out who you are first? Like, figure out, you know, like your own strengths. And then that way, when that falls apart, because he's going to cheat on you, you know where, like, what you can go do.
Right. Well, most of the times, most women don't understand that money always come with conditions. Money always come with controlling. Money would never come with freedom and respect. You have to give and take. And a lot of women don't understand. And to me, it's difficult for successful women to find successful men because they wouldn't want to be controlled. They wouldn't want to be told what to do.
Because they've done it themselves.
They've done themselves. And so, of course, if you accepting the comfortable lifestyle, you have to give away other things. Like, you're not your own person anymore, right? Like,
You're bought with a price. Yep.
Yes.
You're, and I've been told that. I've been told that by men, where they say, well, you don't need me. I'm like, no, I don't need you. Obviously, look at the car I provided for myself. Look at, like, I run my own life. I don't need you. I want you. Isn't that a far better? You want a needy fucking woman? Is that what you want? Someone that's like, well, if that's what you want, go find it, because that ain't me.
but you know, honestly, I also feel like I started feeling for men recently because I feel they have so much pressure too right now. So many check boxes, and I talk to some of my girlfriends, and they want them to be successful and tall and handsome and smart and funny and this and that. But I'm asking, what are you providing in exchange? You can't cook. I mean, you're not really expanding your skills. You don't have many hobbies. I mean, you might be
You
successful.
probably don't even suck a good dick. I mean,
That's true,
honestly,
right?
It's like, be good at something, bitch.
That's true. Actually, that's a whole other topic, but I feel like not many women.
No, I have one of my clients. She's very conservative. She's so.
Whole another episode.
She's been training with me for years, and she just never knows what to do with me.
And it's all about energy.
And
right?
and she, for Valentine's Day, she was like, I'm making John this apple pie with the lettuce. I make it every year. It's my specialty, and he just loves it. And
Apple pie with
and
lettuce.
da 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 da. I said, yep. You know what, Em? I said, we're all good at something. I said, I don't do apple pies. And she goes, oh yeah, I didn't think you did. I said, I used to do chocolate mousse pies. I said, but Dennis would be like, you ever make an apple pie? I was like, nah, chocolate mousse. I said, yeah, apple pies with the lattice crust. I'm not good at that. I said, but I suck a mean dick. She just rolled her eyes.
That's true. And a lot of guys, it's just like, it feels like because if you accept that, you accept him. And a lot of women rejecting that, they're rejecting the man. And it's like, again, going back to my Telegram secret channels that I follow, there's quite a lot to learn, but I feel women feel like they know it all, and they put so much pressure on the guys. And you think, there's no textbook for guys, at least for women. We watch like romance and this and that. Where do the guys get information? From porn? I mean,
Well,
it's,
and men have been programmed too. They have, and that's why when a man who might be close to my age, who I don't fuck with, I keep a stethoscope on my wall for a reason. I ain't trying to kill nobody. But when they're around my age, they've been programmed where like, oh, I'm supposed to take care of a woman. I'm supposed to provide money, and I'm supposed to, it's like, look, that's a bunch of bullshit too. It's like, if you find someone and you guys, that's where you're at, and this is what she wants and that's what you want, that's great. Then you'll make that work. And that's why it comes down to an individual thing. But we as our gender roles, we've been programmed that we're supposed to be we're supposed to fit in these categories and meet these needs for each other. And it's like, human beings just aren't that cut and dry. They're just not. It's a funny thing to me in life that we accept variety in different types of trees, different animals, different plants, different flowers. We celebrate the variety. Oh my God, look at that beautiful rose versus that little daisy. And, but when it comes to humanity, we don't celebrate variety. We want everything has to be, you're different. That's okay. We celebrate those differences and everything else in nature, but not in each other as human beings. So it's like, there's not these cut and dry, like, rules that we're supposed to, like, if you're a man, you're supposed to be this in a relationship. And if you're a woman, you're supposed to be, that's not how it works.
But do you think we don't accept things and bully, and that's why I think bullying comes from the unknown, from the fear of not being exposed to different cultures, to different types of personalities, to different, upbringing methods, things like that. So usually the hate and the bullying comes from fear of the unknown,
100%.
right? And that's where most of the narrow-minded people come from, run from the places that they haven't seen, they
Why are
haven't
you wearing
traveled.
that thing on your head?
Exactly,
The hijab?
yeah, they
Why are
haven't-
you?
Yeah.
I've heard it a lot. Why are you dressed like that? Dressed like what?
Yeah, this is my normal
Yeah.
grocery shopping.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So
Actually,
yeah, I agree. It's a fear. It's not what you were taught or raised with or what you saw, and so it's outside of your scope of understanding.
and it's scary, especially nowadays with the modern dating culture. It's like you hear and know this is what you're supposed to do, and you're trying to do that, but then you're scared. But then people get hurt, and people don't take accountability. It's like I feel like it's such a crazy pod. There's no winning, and you feel like it's probably so much easier to be in love in a small town and a village. You just have one option, right? Hey, I have this one boy, one single guy in the village, just get married, have a family, and they live happily ever after for 40 years.
Right.
But I feel like once you have so much choice and you're exposed options, which I think is the illusion of options. You think there's options, but then you keep hopping from one person to another, to another, to another. You're still searching.
Because you think that the options are better than sticking with the one.
And that's what my sister was saying. She's like, hey, like if you pick that one person and you both committed, there's no way you cannot find solution of how work things out. You're going to be happy and you find this.
100%.
Yeah.
You just make the decision, and that could be any choice you make, and you can be perfectly happy with that decision. You just have to say, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah, but I think it's this modern culture, like you said, the conditioning where they tell you, like in the movies, oh, if you're not happy, move on. Like if you're not, feeling great, like just, leave it behind, all the toxic people around you. Like, but nobody tells you about tenacity. Hey, like maybe you need to have a hard conversation. Maybe you have to confront the person and say, hey, you know what? I'm not gonna like swallow what you told me yesterday, but I'm gonna tell you, I don't like that. I'm not ready, or I'm not willing to compromise. But that's a hard conversation. Rather be ghost somebody and say, oh, I'm not comfortable, bye, and then you move on, and then you have still something unresolved, and you keep hopping and hopping.
Yeah. No, I think we've all seen those older couples that seem absolutely miserable with each other, and you think, why did you guys stay together all these years old? Because that was what was acceptable. And I think that they could be perfectly happy had they learned how to address things with each other and continue to grow through the years. But I think they're, because of being raised with a certain mindset or how things are supposed to be, it's like, well, we're married and that's that. And then they just kind of grew apart. And, you see them like sometimes in grocery stores and they're just like,
That's the worst, I feel like. It's like living unhappy life and just settling for unhappiness.
But by the same token, coming to like sword points in a new relationship and going, oh, well, I guess we're just not meant to be together, and then throwing in the towel. That's
two
to
extremes,
me,
I guess. Yeah. And it's hard to find like that balance, which is, and I guess all comes to the same thing what you were saying in the beginning. You just really find your own happiness, know yourself, know thyself, knowing what makes you happy, knowing what brings you joy, and then you make decisions from that point, not looking for those things in other people.
Well, that comes from a deficit, and that's what I say to people. When you are looking like for a woman that's looking for a man to take care of her, and I'm like, well, that's you're starting out from a deficit. You're showing up at the table and you're already draining from that relationship because you have a deficit yourself to start with. And sometimes men too, they'll show up and maybe they've lived their lives with their mommy always taking care of them and cooking for them and picking up their dirty underwear and whatever it is, and they're looking for a woman to do that too because they don't want to do it. And it's like, that's a deficit. Learn how to take care of yourself. Learn how to cook. Learn how to keep your fucking apartment clean and your bed made. Don't come into a relationship already with deficits expecting this other person to somehow fill your holes. Like, it's a recipe for disaster. And we're all going to have a certain amount of deficits but to expect another human to somehow fill that, it's never going to end well. You have to fill those things yourself. You got to figure that out.
And that's hard work. That's something,
is.
it's constant work,
But it comes down to something as simple as, and this is why I say to people, I'm very anti-medicine, Western medicine. None of my kids are immunized. I don't do drugs. I don't even do ibuprofen. I haven't been to a doctor in over 20 years. So, and I say this to people, whenever someone gets a headache, they want to take a pill, get rid of it. Whenever someone's stomach is upset, rather than let their body vomit, they're going to take something to settle it. Diarrhea, take something I don't want. That's uncomfortable. That's a head cold. Take something to get rid of it. Clear the sinuses. They never let their body detox because they don't want to be in the least bit uncomfortable. And it's like, know these, and that's like the simplest form of this living organism. When it's trying to detox from something, it's trying to get something out, a bacteria, a virus, whatever. It's something that's harming it. You ate something and it's like, oh, sorry, we're gonna get the shits now because we've got to get this out. People are like, no. They always want to be comfortable. They'll pop a pill, they'll do whatever they do. So they're not ever wanting to face those areas of discomfort. And that even comes down to the most simple of our living organism.
And most of the times, I don't know exactly the scientific explanation, but do you believe even if psychologically we're going through something, we'll start having some kind of a disease?
Yes.
And our bodies, especially like in unhappy relationship, haven't you noticed how women start fading? Like their hair becomes dry, like the skin breaks down, or they have something going on with their body. So the natural response of the body is saying, you need to change, you need to get out. Like it's a signal, right? So our body is so amazing that it tells you right there, like something is off, right?
It's like I say, it starts here. This creates your reality. Yeah, I mean, we literally get to create a reality. I'm kind of living proof of that.
No, you are. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like I have so many more questions. We are like a little bit out of time. I want you to just lastly comment. You actually posted, I spied a little bit on your Instagram stories, and you posted a quote by Marcus Aurelius, and he
I
said,
am stoic, yes.
me too, high five. So you said not Marcus Aurelius said, strong minds suffer without complaining, and weak minds complain without suffering.
Without suffering.
What does it mean to you?
That people will, me for instance, maybe I make difficulty just to push through, to not only prove to myself, but to show other people that what we would define as suffering doesn't have to be suffering. So you don't have to think that you're suffering or complain about it. And then yet I have people in my life that are very affluent, very well off, have everything at their fingertips, but they yet on the daily will find just so many things to bitch about. Like everything's a problem. And I'm like, how do you have any problems in your life? Like,
It's kind of like more victim mentality, right?
Yes.
It's more getting that
100%.
attention and getting the justification for your pain, for your suffering, because they don't have any other avenues to express themselves.
they're drumming up drama.
Drumming up, yeah.
My brother Russell, who was a drug addict, he had a victim's mentality. He was a drug addict because we moved here to America and he never wanted to leave Scotland. He was a drug addict because he didn't get the same opportunities because my dad made him work in the bakery when we first came here. He was a drug addict, he had all these finger points to everyone outside of himself as to why his life was a shambles. And it's like, no.
You are the problem.
Fix it.
Fix
You're
it.
a fucking adult.
So to wrap it up, for those people who are watching and maybe something is burning inside them and they want to make a change in their life, but they don't know how, what would be the advice you would tell them to find that inner fire?
Oh my God, I'm going to be Nike cliche.
Go for it.
Just do it. This is my little saying. Head down, hoodie up, headset on, move. Don't look to the right or the left. Don't overthink. Just put the hoodie up, put the headset in, put your head down, move. Just move. Just go. Don't rationalize, don't explain, just do it.
Almost had one tear dropping down. That was really insightful. Thank you for this conversation. I wish we had 3-4 more hours. I didn't even get to the questions about the nutrition and fasting, all the things, but I feel like at some point I would love to do part 2 because you have a very interesting approach to life, and I would love more people to hear about it and not hear it like from some, fluffy, super sweet, channels that say all
From
the
a
same.
real person
From a
that's
real,
actually living what they believe.
living what you believe, and you live happily, and you look amazing, and you have great energy. And I'm very grateful that you agreed to come on the Basic Show and talk to me and share your story. I'm like really inspired from today. I'm definitely going to turn off my TV from today, starting small steps.
Yeah.
Well, we had Maire Brandon today. Thank you so much. And I hope one day we have part 2.
Awesome. That would be great.
Thank you.